Hello, you're tuning in into Vietnam, the exclusive business news on VITV channel. Let's take a look at our top stories. Vietnam and Switzerland collaborate to build a regional development plan for exports. The State Bank governor says destructive debt ratio will drop to 3% by the end of the year. And Vietnam incurs a trade deficit of $600 million in September. In order to improve the export competitiveness of Vietnamese small and medium-sized enterprises through local trade promotion systems, the Trade Promotion Department under the Ministry of Industry and Trade organized a national workshop on a regional development plan for exports. This is a technical assistance project using ODA capital granted by the Swiss government.
The project is implemented in 4 years, from 2013 to 2017. Two direct beneficiaries group of the program include trade promotion centers or local business supporting organizations such as trade associations, cooperatives, etc., and the small and medium-sized enterprises. The project is implemented nationwide, focusing on a number of important provinces and cities, which are selected based on such criteria as trade support capacity and sustainable export potential and commitment to the program. 3 coordinated cities to implement the project in 3 regions of the north, south, and the center of the country are Hải Phòng, Da Nang, and Cần Thơ cities. Key export products of the north are lychee, tea, textiles, footwear, handicrafts, logistics, and tourism. Of the central are coffee, pepper, cashew nuts, honey, tuna, handicrafts, logistics, and travel. Of the south are fragrant rice, fresh fruit, fish, garments, handicrafts, logistics, and tourism. The goal of the program is to concretize the policies of the government in the current period in order to expand consumer markets for local products and to have businesses reduce inventories, pushing up production for business and manufacturing activities of enterprises.
And now let's move on with updated news from the banking industry. Announcing at the National Assembly Answer and Question session on September the 29th, the State Bank Governor Nguyễn Văn Bình said, in the past 3 years, the banking system settled 249 trillion dong of non-performing loans, slumping for 464 trillion dong in September 2012. Of the total, 86 trillion dong was resolved by the Vietnam Asset Management Company or VAMC, and the rest was dealt with the provision for risk by credit institutions. By the end of July, bank's provision for risk hit 78 trillion dong, which will be used to resolve bad debt till the end of the year. According to reports by credit institutions, by the end of July, bad debt ratio of the banking system was 4.11%, higher than the 3.9% level in 2013, while the monitor rate by the central bank was 8%. The State Bank of Vietnam announced its approval of the merging deal between Southern Bank and Second Bank. By the end of Q2, Second Bank recorded a profit of 649.4 trillion dong, credit growth up 9.61%, and mobilization expansion up 12.62%. The central bank also turned green light for the plan to merge MDB and Maritime Bank. Reports by the State Bank show among 9 weak commercial banks identified in 2012, the institute approved 8 restructuring plans, and in the upcoming time, it will submit the restructuring plan of the rest to the government. In the first 9 months of the year through September, Vietnam's export turnover reached $109.6 billion, while imports hit $107.1 billion, resulting in a trade surplus of $2.5 billion, equivalent to 2.3% of export turnover. According to the estimate at General Statistics Office, national export turnover in September alone was worth $12.4 billion, declining 6.6% compared to the previous month. due to affected custom declaration operations at the Independence Day holiday and accelerated export at the end of August. During the period, export turnover stood at $109.6 billion, increasing by 14.1% year-on-year, in which the FDI sector generated almost $73 billion from exports, rising 14.1%, and contributed over 66.6% to the total national export turnover. Vietnam welcomed more than 6 million international arrivals during the first 9 months of this year, up by 10.42% compared to the same period last year. According to the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism, the number of domestic tourists hit 32.4 million during the same period, an increase of 7.6%. Tourism has generated 179 trillion dong, or $8.44 billion so far this year, a year-on-year rise of 19.24%. During the first 9-month period, Hanoi received nearly 1.5 million tourists, up 17.1% year-on-year, and Ho Chi Minh City earned roughly 19 trillion dong, or $896 million, from hotel and tourism services, up by 8.3% year-on-year. Coming up next in the bulletin is some foreign trade news. Despite being a restrained imported commodity, completely built units saw the imports in Vietnam rise between January and September to hit 44,000 units, worth $938 million. According to the General Statistics Office, in September alone, automobile imports in Vietnam was 7,000 units, valued at $132 million. In 9 months, Vietnam imported 44,000 completely built units, or CBU, valued at $938 million, up 74% in volume and 90.2% in value on year. Vietnam's automobile imports contributed 0.9% to the total import revenues in 9 months. The number of middle-class auto buyers in Vietnam is on the rise, which continues to be a big challenge for local automobile manufacturers in the context that Vietnamese people with high income are rising, but they tend to use imported goods. Although considered the backbone of the national industry, industrial producers still have to import most of material for productions. To address the situation, recently the Ministry of Industry and Trade held a consultant conference for the draft decree on the development of supporting industry in order to replace the Decision Number 12 and Decision Number 1483. The decree is much expected by both foreign and domestic firms to create a new boost for the supporting industry in Vietnam.
According to statistics from Vietnam's Ministry of Industry and Trade, the electricity, electronics, textiles, and footwear sectors are expected to import industrial supporting products worth about $53 billion in 2014. Last year, Vietnam had 1,300 enterprises operating in the supporting industry, with localization rate of only 5%. According to the government's commitments to 2018, the basic line of duty will be 0%, causing more difficulties for the industry to find opportunities to develop without immediate fundamental changes. Therefore, the draft decree on supporting industry development launched by the Ministry of Industry and Trade recently focuses on the incentives for human resource development in the supporting industry related to import taxes, corporate income tax, personal income tax, and credit extracture. The business community is showing high expectations for the draft decree.
Phải nói là đây là một cái nghị định nghiên cứu rất kỹ và đề ra được một số cái giải pháp, đề ra được một số cái chính sách để thực hiện phát triển cái công nghiệp phụ trợ trong thời gian tới. Phải nói tôi nghĩ là lần đầu tiên tôi tiếp thu được một cái nghị định một cách tương đối đầy đủ những vấn đề liên quan phát triển công nghiệp phụ trợ ở Việt Nam trong thời kỳ mới.
However, in fact, Virtually none of enterprises in the sector meets the requirements of manufacturers. According to estimations of the drafting committee, among 500 enterprises operating in the manufacturing sector, only about 200 domestic enterprises involved in manufacturing for foreign companies, and they mainly focus on components of motorbikes and electronics, while other sectors such as textile, footwear, mechanism, automobile are left untouched.
Công nghiệp hỗ trợ FDI là tôi cho rằng đó là cái con đường nhanh nhất, nhưng chúng ta phải hướng đến có một cái lộ trình để hướng đến cái quá trình liên kết, hợp tác, chuyển giao công nghệ và nội địa hóa. Để rồi cái mục tiêu của ta đó là trong vòng 5-10 năm nữa ta có được cái doanh nghiệp công nghiệp hỗ trợ của Việt Nam đã tham gia vào cái chuỗi giá trị cung ứng ấy.
In addition, although Vietnam has abundant mineral resources, but its lack of intensive processing to serve the domestic supporting industry. If the supporting industry developed without having components, spare parts and materials produced locally, the country will again have to import assembled materials. Therefore, there should be provisions to encourage enterprises and active investments to develop intensive processing.
Rõ ràng là với chúng ta đó, hiện nay nói phát triển công nghiệp hỗ trợ, nhưng mà rồi nguyên vật liệu là đi nhập, linh kiện là cũng có khi phải đi nhập. Thế thì ta lại đi làm một cái câu chuyện lại là tiếp tục là gia công chế biến thêm một ít rồi lại cung cấp, chắc gì nó đã rẻ hơn cái sản phẩm của nước ngoài vào đây. Thành ra về lâu dài cái công nghiệp nền tảng là phải phát triển.
Besides, experts say the biggest difficulty to develop the supporting industry in Vietnam is human resources, which now cannot meet the demand of the industry. Therefore, the development of human resources is extremely important for Vietnam at the moment. In addition, the localization policy of the supporting industry should be paid attention by Vietnamese government.
問題ですけれども、これが最も、その産業の発展には重要です。で、多くの日系企業、日系だけじゃないですけど、外国企業が、ベトナムに投資をしていると。で、その投資をした企業がこの国に残さなければいけないものがやっぱり技術とか経営ノウハウとかそういうものなんですけど、それがベトナム人あるいはベトナム企業に伝わって初めてベトナムのその産業が、そのあっちに足のついたその産業がここに育ってくるわけですね。その育つためにはその大事なのが人材育成ということになりますから、この人材育成をきちんとやるためには、その一般的な話議論をしててもダメなので、今回ワーキンググループを作って、そこで本当にどんな人材育成が必要なのかで実際
JHO's 2013 survey showed that the proportion of domestic supply for Japanese companies was less than 32% in Vietnam, compared with 64% in China and 52% in Thailand. Vietnam is facing a great opportunity to develop the industry, but how to take advantage of that opportunity depends on the efforts of the state and businesses in the country.
And before we go, let's check out today's local gold prices, forex and stock market. Well, that's the end of this series. Thank you so much for your attention. Enjoy your day and see you later.